All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Altcoin Daily. My name is Aaron. The reason you subscribe is because I keep you informed with everything going on in the cryptocurrency space. Today is a huge news day. This is a video you don't want to miss. I almost could have led with any of these stories. We're going to start with Bitcoin. Make sure you like the video, support the channel. Institutional investors plan to buy every Bitcoin price dip. At least that's what data is suggesting. What is this data? Well, it's based on a survey. After surveying 50 institutional investors that collectively manage over $78 billion in assets in the United States and United Kingdom, a standout response was that 26% of participants believe that pension funds, insurers, family offices, and sovereign wealth funds will raise their stakes in cryptocurrency drastically. 64% of participants believe that the increase in interaction will be moderate, but the group also expects that hedge funds will be more actively engaged in crypto. 32% of respondents believe that hedge funds will increase their crypto holdings drastically. So, of course, this is just a survey, but my takeaway from this survey is that everybody in the room thinks that other institutions are going to be interested in buying the Bitcoin dip. And why wouldn't they when Bitcoin is such an asymmetrical asset? Think of it like this. The percent of people in the world using the internet in 1995 was only half of 1%. The percent of the world using the internet today is still only 60%. But think of how much the internet has changed everybody's lives. The percent of people using Bitcoin in 2020 is only 0.5%, so plenty of room to grow. Answer this in the comments. What do you think the price of Bitcoin will be when 60% of the population is using Bitcoin? And guess what? It's not going to take 25 years for people's perception to change of Bitcoin. That's going to take a lot less. In 1995, the internet was new and scary and different to a lot of people. They did not think in 1995 that the internet would be part of their future necessarily. Cut to just 10 years later, in 2005, everybody pretty much just accepted the internet was here to stay and it is valuable to me. That same thing is going to happen with Bitcoin. And speaking about Bitcoin, Bitcoin will decouple from traditional markets soon. Fundamentals of user adoption have already broken all-time highs. So don't worry about that. And as far as user adoption goes, I can attest that is alive and well. My brother and I had the pleasure of attending OC Bitcoin Network's Bitcoin meetup last night in Orange County. This is, it was really cool to just chat with other Bitcoiners and just, talk about the crypto market. Hey, Bitcoin's over 10,000. That's all you need to say to start a conversation. And in the future, all you need to say is, hey, Bitcoin's up. This is me right here. Check it out. If anybody from the Southern California area wants to implement Bitcoin in their business, you should reach out to OC Bitcoin Network or Brian Harrington because that's their goal is to get people in Southern California and all around the world to be part of Bitcoin's circular economy. So if you ever thought about it and want to do it, contact these guys. They'll help you out. Getting to some other recent news, let's talk about altcoins. If this happens, this would be a huge game changer. New bipartisan bill would classify digital tokens as commodities, not securities, in the United States of America. The legislation introduced by Chairman of the National Republican Congressional Committee, Rep. Tom Emmer, Minnesota, would amend existing securities laws to exclude tokens from the definition of a security. Speaking to CoinDesk, Amy Kim, Chief Policy Officer at the Chamber of Digital Commerce, CDC, noted if a company issues a token and there's an investment contract there, it has to be registered with the SEC to qualify for the exemption. So you still have to go through the SEC, but it doesn't have to be classified as a security. The token that's the object or subject of that investment contract itself isn't necessarily a security, Kim said, according to a press statement on Emmer's website. The bill would allow companies in compliance with security registration requirements or have qualified for an exemption to distribute their assets to the public without additional regulatory uncertainty. It goes on to state that digital tokens associated with security offerings are, in fact, and always were, commodities. The new legislation would help bring clarity to this area of the industry that's in desperate need of it, Kim said. So this is obviously still something that has a lot of time left before, we see if it comes into fruition. If this were to go through, it would be a huge game changer. Make sure you're subscribed. As soon as we get more information, I'm going to let you know about it. The Federal Reserve Bank has revealed more details on digital dollar research. A cash ban is coming. Be prepared. The Federal Reserve Bank has been exploring digital currencies to modernize the U.S. payments sector. The Fed hasn't said a cash ban is coming. That's me throwing my opinion onto it based on, what we see happening. The president and CEO of the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland has released details of the Fed's ongoing research into a potential digital dollar. Speaking in a keynote address September 23rd, Loretta Mester emphasized that the Fed has been exploring CBDCs since before the pandemic, noting that its board of governors has been building and testing a range of distributed ledger platforms to understand their potential benefits and trade-offs. She also noted initiatives from regional Federal Reserve branches, including a multi-year partnership between Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, maybe you've heard of them, and the Boston Fed, in addition to a collaboration with the Fed's New York branch and the Bank of International Settlements. The digital dollar is coming. Cash ban possibly coming. Glad I have my Bitcoin. DeFi yield farming aggregator APY Finance raises $3.6 million in seed funding. Ah, yes, my favorite decentralized finance projects have that VC money behind them. And this is the way the industry is trending. So it's just interesting to note. Want to point this out. Moving on. Russia has proposed an up to 3-year jail time for undeclared crypto wallets. Russia's finance ministry has prepared a new bill that would force crypto holders to declare their wallets or face fines and even jail. 3 years in prison. This is kind of, if a government were to do this, this is just a proposal at this point, but if any government were to do this, and this is something that could happen, that would be short-term bearish, if this happened in America. Now, this hasn't happened yet. We could see a month from now Russia go the other way. They probably just want to get some Bitcoin cheaper.
Ding dong.
Who's there?
KGB.
Try to get the door.
I'm not answering
Answer
the door.
the
Ding
door.
dong.
No way, it's the KGB.
Ding dong.
I'm not answering that.
Yes, you're going
you
to.
answer
I'm
it.
not going to answer.
I'm not going to answer it. It's the KGB.
The KGB will pay for no one.
It's true.
Final story of the day. A Bitcoin ETF has finally launched in Bermuda. Companies have struggled for years to get a Bitcoin ETF approved in the US, and now the Bermuda Stock Exchange will have one. The reason I wanted to bring this to your attention is because Hashdex, a Brazilian-based fund manager, and American Stock Exchange NASDAQ have launched a cryptocurrency ETF to be listed on the Bermuda Stock Exchange. So the NASDAQ is in on this. It's only a matter of time before this happens in America. You can see that we have a bull run on the horizon, a bubbly bull run, probably at that. You want to have your Bitcoin. You want to be involved early in this market like we are. And with that being said, I will see you tomorrow, my friends.
Bitcoin cannot be debased. It cannot be debased, and it is now competing with the incumbent currency, US dollar fiat, which not only can be debased, but exists in a state of perpetual institutionalized debasement. This dynamic will encourage a virtuous cycle in which rational actors at the margins decide to hold the non-decaying form of money to the exclusion of that which decays. This is the primary reason gold itself has retained its position in society. It cannot be debased by governments either. When comparing two potential monetary alternatives, the one which is the hardest to debase is probably the one you should prefer, other factors being equal. But here the other factors aren't equal. One of them can also be transferred anywhere on Earth between any two people instantly at near zero cost and can't be shut down or censored. How's that for intrinsic value? But ignore for a moment every interesting advantage of Bitcoin. Ignore the ease with which one can send it. Ignore the censorship resistance. Ignore the universality, the fungibility, and the divisibility. Ignore the impossibility of counterfeit. True, Bitcoin surpasses US dollar fiat in all of these, but ignore those for a moment. Focus purely on the fact, the mathematical fact, that Bitcoin cannot be debased no matter how many guns a government wields, no matter how much propaganda it spews, or innocent people it imprisons. It does not matter how many meetings the Federal Reserve holds in its halls of chiseled marble. Every year, fiat oozes from the sewer of state. As a consequence, it has lost 98% of its value in the past 100 years. How foolish does one need to be to hold it over the next 100? Compared to gold, Bitcoin provides an efficient digital apparatus of payment and exchange that can enable commerce rather than hinder it. But more importantly, compared to fiat, Bitcoin bestows a gift for which humanity will grow increasingly hungry, an open, honest financial system that is under the control of no man, committee, or nation. Bitcoin will find its way into every tributary of economic activity, and with this gradual adoption, Bitcoin will come to replace fiat as the preferred money and medium of exchange for all sovereign people on Earth.